Hi, love, and welcome to week one of the Fall for All Challenge, health coaching portion of the challenge. I'm really excited for you. If you haven't already, go ahead and download the ebook. Pause this video to download the ebook. You can find it below in the downloads, and I've also linked it in the text below as well. If you have any trouble finding it, just let me know. You can print it out too, because there are journal prompts, or you can, use them and journal on a piece of paper, whatever that is. We're going to go through some journaling prompts today and chat through the power of intuitive movement and how to find intuitive movement. When we're thinking about intuitive movement, one of the biggest things that helped me was using the term movement. So before we dive into the journaling, I just want to tell you a little bit about the why and why I changed my verbiage and how much the verbiage that we use can adjust our outlook on things and how our relationship with things is. So I chose the word movement because for me, for so long, the terms exercise or workout had negative connotations to them. Not that they're negative words, I'm not saying that at all. But for me, in the place that I was at with my wellness journey, they had all these preconceived notions around them, right? Whether, an exercise had to look a certain way, it had to be really hard on your body, it had to be a certain length. And I had a lot of shoulds around that. So that's when I started switching to the verbiage of using movement, because for me, it was so much easier to just think about, okay, how do I want to move my body today? What's going to feel good in that movement as well? Because as women, we ebb and flow. Our energy levels differ throughout the month, and we have a 28-day hormone cycle versus a 24-day hormone cycle and circadian rhythm. So knowing that we are constantly changing and that we're able to tune in and ask what type of movement feels good today is really empowering. So I want you to open up to page 3 of the ebook, and we're going to go through these journal prompts together. So the first one is reflecting on a relationship with movement. How has this been thus far in your life? Do you remember any highs or lows? Are there any habits that aren't serving you? Write them down. So when I'm saying this, as I mentioned, when I started to really reflect on my relationship with movement, that is where I came to that I had all these external beliefs and external factors. And I really thought of movement as something to make me smaller or a punishment, instead of thinking about it as something to make me feel really good and energized. So go ahead, pause the video and journal on that now and just reflect on that, what that relationship has been thus far. Now for the next questions, the next two. The first is, how do you feel prior to moving your body typically? And then the following question is, how do you typically feel after moving your body? And when you're thinking about these, I want you to think about the movements that you're choosing and maybe how you feel different before and after each one. For example, when I was doing a movement that really wasn't suiting me, that wasn't right for me, I was feeling a lot of anxiety beforehand. And afterwards, I was feeling really depleted. Whereas with the style of movement that I teach all of you, I feel really excited to move my body. I look forward to it. And afterwards, I feel energized and I feel really good in my body. I feel really confident in my body. So kind of look at that and maybe jot down with the different types of movement too, how you're feeling before and after, and journal on those two things. The next prompt is reflecting on the reasons why you're choosing to move your body. So when you're thinking about those, kind of what I was saying before in terms of my personal movement journey, when I was choosing to move my body, it was really a form of punishment, or it was because I thought I had to, or it was because I was focused on getting smaller. And now, when I choose to move my body, I'm focused on getting stronger. I'm focused on feeling empowered. I'm focused on feeling really good in my body. I'm focused on feeling energized and all of those types of things. So write them down. And on a side note, kind of write down, how would you like to feel? when you choose to move your body, those reasons that you're moving your body, because the intention behind why we're doing something is really, really important as well. And pause and journal on that. For the next prompt, it is, are there any habits or beliefs that you have around movement that aren't serving you? So, one that I was mentioning, for example, was something that wasn't serving me was using the term exercise or workout. And something else that wasn't serving me was this idea that it had to look a certain way, or, it had to be a certain length, like all these rules that I had on movement because of external beliefs and external society and marketing and all of those things. And they really weren't serving me. So I chose to identify them and leave them behind. So by identifying these, you can choose to start changing your idea around these principles and around these habits that you're thinking. And you can also start to second guess them. You can start to debunk them and question them and logically kind of speak your way out of believing them as well. So go ahead and journal on those. And finally, to wrap up this section, reflecting on all of those answers, are there any intentions that you want to have this week around your movement practice? Are there any new habits that you want to implement? Are there any new beliefs that you want to implement? And these are going to be empowering beliefs that you would implement. So kind of starting to shift that. Are there any things that weren't serving you that you can kind of start to shift into to serving you? And so on and so forth. And go ahead and journal on that. Okay, love. So I hope that that was helpful. And remember that you can always come back to this. Another piece of the ebook are the movement journals. So you will find the movement journals on page 7. So it starts in section 6, but then in page 7, you can find the movement journal. So I would love for you to this week, after reflecting on that journaling session, use these movement journals because they're really helpful to start identifying your relationship with movement, to start moving intuitively. So they have questions like, what type of movement is your body craving today? How are you feeling before moving your body? How do you feel after moving your body? And what are some of the things that you can feel grateful and appreciative about your body after moving? Because that is all about what we're doing this week, is shifting that intention, changing that intention, improving our relationship with movement, and really finding how to move our bodies in a way that feels good and celebrate our bodies in the best way. So I would love for you to use those movement journals this week. And of course, go ahead and use them next week as well, and start to see how you feel and see how it feels to really just tune in and take that time to connect with your body and move intuitively. So I hope that this is helpful. Please let me know if you have any additional questions down below. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on the comments section. And if you want me to speak more on this topic, let me know as well. But if not, I will see you next week, where we will be talking all about body appreciation and bettering our relationship with our body. See you then.